Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to those in Australia. I am Secretary of State Nina Vidoni, here representing the United States of the game. Just in case any of you do not know what you logged into, we will be having a debate today, and today we will be deciding who will become Secretary of Education. I have two candidates among me. I have Armand and I have Maggie. We'll see who wins. Armand, let's start with you. Tell us, please, what is your slogan? What's the first thing you want to do in office, and what is your platform?
Thank you so much, Secretary of State, and to all viewers. Have you ever had a dream that you could do anything? Well, I have too. Hello, my name is Armand, and I am the rightful choice to be the next Secretary of Education. Our current education system has failed its students. Students these days are being treated like cattle in a system that reduces their values to numbers, provides poor resources, values memorization over understanding, and conforms students to think in a particular way. Students these days are unable to visualize for themselves. The possibilities for what they can do with their lives is blurred through these barriers that are seemingly transparent, but very much there. Well, guess what? I'm here to be the zipper and open it. Because if you learn about it, you can dream about it. In order to save this sinking ship of a department, I vow to reshape the education system, particularly through federal changes to the curriculum. By changing what students learn, the possibilities are endless. Now I'm going to talk to the students. Do you want to learn how you can make the next vaccine instead of cursive? You can under my plan. Do you want to learn how to become a contestant on the game just so you can get eliminated for designing a high couture lamp outfit or writing a book called Marvin and the Malevolent Mammals? You will do that. And have you ever wanted to get gangbanged by 3 homeless men in a Kohl's? You could do that as well. We teach you the possibilities. We are reshaping them, and we'll teach people the material they need to know to visualize and make their dreams come true. I will push our president, our Secretary of State, and Department of Education for resources to share my ideas and curriculum that will be heavily focused on stimulating the imagination. Because if you dream big and long, you don't actually have to deal with reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zipper. Maggie, why don't you go ahead and tell us what your slogan and what you plan to do in office?
Well, thank you so much, Madam Secretary, for having me here tonight. Mr. Akbari, it is a pleasure as always to see you. And everybody here at the selection committee and who is watching at home, thank you so much for taking the time to really care about the future of our country and of the game. I'm so humbled and grateful that a humble and great, regular, normal person like me has the honor to serve the American people. As a frequent user of education and much time spent working for real Americans' needs, I am a perfect candidate for the Board of Education. In school, I loved animals and learning all about them, which I did a lot on my private farm where I studied equestrian. I will work with the Board of Education to develop national curriculums and standards for this great country and game, or as I like to call them, or children rather, the future. First of all, I want to ensure that our children have marketable skills. In addition to learning one oral language, I think it should be required that children also learn one physical language, including karate, taekwondo, jujitsu, aikido, judo, kung fu, among others. In addition, I believe that lying is an incredibly important thing in our culture. It is important that children understand the seriousness of lying, which is why I think that we should make it a standardized school subject. Negotiation, excuses for missing school, weddings, a bris, and in general, leading. I think lying is very important and our children need to understand it better. And at children, I think that we should be granting attractive children who will grow up to be in professions where they will not need education, time off from school to further prepare for what their life will be like in reality. In addition, I think that it is important that we provide parent care to every child so that they do not need to be worrying about what their parents are doing while they're off receiving a wonderful education from our wonderful country. I would like to thank you all so much for listening to me today. And I just want to remind you that my needs are your needs. I am the one for you. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Maggie. As someone who was once a beautiful, attractive, lying child, I really identify with your statement. Thank you for sharing. Now, Armand, I know there's been a lot of tension between the two of you in this debate and in your candidacy so far. So I would like to know, what is it that you think would be unfit within Maggie to fulfill this position?
Maggie, as you've said, we've had many amazing moments together, but there are some concerns that I have noticed. To remind our viewers, of course, as we are on Zoom, we are in the midst of a global pandemic. Now, Maggie's full name is Margaret May Mershon, and that is a total of 19 letters. 19. That ring a bell? COVID-19, SARS coronavirus 2019. If you count the amount of letters in both the full name and the full name of the virus, that is equating to 19 letters each. Maggie, you know, I don't like to speculate. I like to dictate. And here I'm presenting a fact. I believe that Maggie started the COVID-19 virus so that the world would shut down, so that we would compete in the game, so that she would have the opportunity to be in this debate. I mean, I find it to be very disheartening and disturbing that you would lead to the deaths of over 300,000 people in this great nation just so you could have an opportunity to be the Secretary of Education. I find it slightly disturbing, and I think it disqualifies you from this position.
Bold claims, Armand. Thank you for voicing your opinions. Maggie, I'm interested to hear your rebuttal. Proceed.
I think, honestly, a number of letters in my name. When you read it out in full, my name, Margaret May Mershon, also includes the letters M-A-G-G-I-E in quotes on my birth certificate, tacking on an extra 6 letters and actually making it around 25, which is actually a square number, which is one of the most wonderful numbers that there is, which I learned in my fabulous education. Mr. Akbari, are there not 12 numbers in your name? The same name that indeed is of the ending year that we predicted
Maggie,
to be the end of the world,
out.
2012. I find it very... No, of course, please. I will begin at the beginning of my statement, which was, Mr. Akbari, you have, in fact, 12 letters in your name, which is the ending number of the year 2012, the year the Mayans predicted the world would, in fact, end. Such a disastrous number and such a disastrous year for all of mankind. I find it very interesting that you would bring that up. The year after the artist won Best Picture. You know, I also have a few qualms about Mr. Akbari. In one of his videos, he proclaimed that he was, you know, one of the most wonderful things was the Chipotle burrito. Now, associating yourself with a brand like Chipotle that is about hardworking Americans, I 100% support. However, aligning yourself with a company who not only makes wonderful burritos, but also produced an E. coli outbreak that harmed several Americans. You really want to talk about the damage that people have done to this country? You want to talk about damaging the health insurance system of this country? I think you ought to look right at yourself in the mirror. I don't think you need to proclaim any sort of falsehoods or make any suggestions about me.
I do find it fun. I have a Secretary of State. Is my She said 2012. I will break down your points for a second. 2012. If you flip it, that's 2021. Right. But if you add 4 to it, it's 25. And that is the number you just proclaimed. So I'm just saying it's a bit dangerous. And if you want to talk about representing institutions that are of hardworking people, Maggie, let's talk about other things. MMM, MMM. Flip it on its side. BEE. Separate them out. Maggie founded the KKK as well. So that's what I want to say. So you want to bring up the fact that I support a burrito, right? That I believe in a nutritious meal. You are out here wearing white robes. Maggie, you know, if you're going to go tit for tat, make sure your tit matches the tat.
Now, Mr. Armand, can we please remember this is a G-rated Production, thank you. Let's avoid discussion of breasts. Maggie.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
And it seems Maggie is frozen again. Oh, and she's back. Proceed.
Am I here? Oh, thank you so much. It might seem that I was frozen. I was in such a state of shock that a candidate for the Board of Education would truly bring up my magnificent breasts during our debate as a moment of attack. It's truly unbelievable and rude. If we are truly to get into what the American people care about in this debate, we should talk about conspiracy theories, which Mr. Akbari has done a fabulous job of discussing. However, I do wish to discuss the fact that in one of his other posts, he posted a picture of himself dressed as Bjork, which we all know is one of America's most notorious aliens. She is not from America, but we know her well as an alien. And why would he associate himself with aliens if not he were himself an alien? Is he not trying to infiltrate the game and try and push his ideas of the alien world and bring them to our wonderful world? You have a problem with Earth, Mr. Akbari? You bring it to me. You do not bring it to the American people. It is not their problem.
Thank you, Maggie. That does actually bring us to my next question for you, Mr. Armand. I have it on good authority that you were once bullied in grade school for having a third ear. Now that seems to align directly with Maggie's claims of you being an alien. Can you please describe to me what it was like being raised with a third ear and maybe even show us that third ear?
You know, it has been a very large point of insecurity for me, but I will proudly show it tonight. But first, let me explain what it was like. I hear everything. Everything. And what I mean by that is imagine being in elementary school and imagine going into the restroom and hearing every conversation, hearing every plop of, I don't want to say the word, shite in the toilet. I can hear everything. And, you know, I find it very actually, Maggie, although I do understand your claims of like the Bjork moment, I find it so sad that you would call me an alien knowing that I'm Venezuelan and Persian. So you are deeming all immigrants aliens and using derogatory terms. But let me continue with answering the questions and I will get back to your alien claims. I have felt attacked and victimized for so long in my life for my third ear. And I think it is time to show everyone.
I think it is.
I think it is too. Oh, we're frozen. Oh, no. You can't.
Mr. Armand.
Oh, no.
Mr. Armand.
Frozen.
Turn your video back on, please.
Oh, no. I guess we have to let that go. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Froze.
Okay. All right, we're gonna move on to Maggie. Thank you, Armand. Thank you. I'm sure you can hear me with that third ear of yours, but I am saying you're done. Thank you, Maggie.
Oh, okay. Oh, who knew?
Maggie, I do have a question for you. I was told that you dropped out of school in the 4th grade.
Yes.
Now, please tell me how that is going to affect your career as the Secretary of Education if you were to get the position.
Madam Secretary, may I first say that is an absolutely wonderful question, and I thank you for it. I first want to address how disappointed I am in Mr. Akbari's not only inability to show his third ear on camera that he clearly planted as a way to garner support from and empathy from the American people, but also was then too afraid to show it on camera. I think it's, you know, a cowardice that I have not shown in this debate and do not plan on showing in my position as the Secretary of Education. But back to your question about me leaving school in the 4th grade. As I mentioned in my my platform, I think it is important for children who are showing promise and showing that they will be successful people who will one day be some of America's most attractive people, to have the opportunity to get their life started and leave their education and learn the world that they will know it, be given what they will be given, and not need to work a day in their life. I think that those people are not seen or heard from as they need to be in our society. And I think that is a voice that I well represent in this campaign, that Mr. Akbari, a hardworking American citizen, does not necessarily represent, and has been represented for far too long in this country.
Yes. Maggie, thank you so much for your statements. I will be wrapping us up soon. With a last final word from me, I will be reciting the national poem of the United States of the game. As a closing statement, I want to first thank you both for coming in today, and I wish you the best in all your future endeavors. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. All right, now for the poem. Hold, please. Now, raise hands. Thank you, Armand. Maggie, please raise your hand. Thank you. Gobble me, swallow me, drip down the side of me. Quick, jump out before you let it get inside of me. Talk your shit, bite your lip, ask for a car while you ride that dick, while you ride that dick. Thank you. It was a pleasure.